Brandon, how are you?
All right.
We're live on the webpage and we'll be good to go.
All right, it's 5 p.m. This time I'll call to order and open the meeting, a special meeting of the Henderson City Board of Zoning Adjustment, January 13, 2021. My name is Landon Overfield. I'm standing in for our chairman, Rob Torney, and I'll do my best to conduct the meeting.
Landon, let me check with IT and make sure we're good to go.
Okay.
Double checking the website. It didn't come up to our live link, so we'll make sure we're on the website as well. There.
Okay, we're good. You want me to do the gavel?
That's fine. Do I need to open the meeting again?
No.
Yeah.
Okay. All
Yes,
right.
according to Ray.
I would.
I didn't know where it came in. All right. At this time, I'll open the meeting, call to order the meeting of the Henderson City Board of Zoning Adjustment, a special call meeting for January 13, 2021. My name is Landon Overfield. I will be the acting chairman, standing in for Rob Torney, who is still somewhere up in the sky. So at this time, I'd like to welcome everybody, participants and board members, and ask Sarah if we can have a roll call, please.
Mac Arnold,
Here.
Heather Knight,
Here.
Rob Turney, Landon Overfield,
Here.
Marcos Nicholas.
Here.
I believe we do have a quorum. I believe the first order of business is appeal number 3416. Mr. Nix, could you bring us up to speed on that appeal?
I certainly can. Appeal number 3416 is submitted by Chase Fulcher for the property located at 1138 North Elm Street. This is the site of the old Ohio Valley Heart Group. Applicant is requesting a conditional use permit to allow multiple uses or businesses, but no more than 3 may be allowed in the same structure or building with a conditional use permit pursuant to Article 17, Section 17.03J, Appendix A, Zoning Code of Ordinances of the City of Henderson, Kentucky. The property is zoned residential office, RO. All adjoining property owners have been notified, and we have received no calls on this appeal. The conditional use permit application requests that the list of potential multiple uses include professional offices, charitable offices, medical and dental offices, and these are all which are permitted use for the RO zone. Also, apartment, laboratory, medical and dental, these are listed as conditional uses in that zone. The property has been vacant for a couple of years, and Mr. Fulcher has spent the past few months making major improvements to the site and to the building, and I'm sure he will want to share with you some of what he has done and his current plans moving forward. The applicant, in filling out their conditional use permit worksheet, states that the requested conditional use is justified because it is an essential use in that the property was previously used as a large medical office, headquarters, and therapy suite, and the proposed use is smaller suites of medical, dental, insurance, and professional offices with living quarters on the second floor. In addition, a nonprofit will have an office in the building. They went on to state that the conditional use would promote the public health, safety, or welfare by conforming the zoned use to what the building is suited for. Medical offices adjacent to the hospital are appropriate, and the professional offices fit the neighborhood. The proposed use is less dense than the previous use. Conditions that would eliminate or minimize adverse effects of the proposed use in the zoning district are hours of use would be from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m., similar to its prior use. Staff has reviewed and recommend approval of the request. However, as a point of clarification, in reading through the application, it appears that there may be more than 3 potential uses desired at this particular time. We would want to be clear that if this conditional use is approved, that it would be permitted for the maximum of 3 uses at any one time. We forward the application appeal to the board for your consideration, action, and any additional conditions that you deem appropriate.
Thank you, Ray. Is there anyone either at the city building or on the Zoom meeting to speak in behalf of appeal number 3416?
This is Chris Hopgood. I'm here with Chase.
We're both here. And were you referencing for us to speak?
Yes. Let
Okay.
just, I assume you want to speak on behalf of the appeal. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. Do each of you swear to tell the truth?
Yes, sir.
Now speak up. I can't read lips very well when you have masks on, and I'm glad to see that you have masks on.
Yeah. Yeah. This application is just designed to get this building into use for smaller suites rather than the one large medical practice that was here, which I think it had its billing office and its therapy. This would allow this building to be used for Chase's business, which is professional office, and any one of those other type of medical type offices. And also another professional office a small professional office for a nonprofit that may need a place to have an administrator. It would not be a in and out type of business, such as the outreach or something like that, where the public's going to be coming and going. It's going to be more like a business or an office that just has an administrator coming and going that day.
You gonna let him do it all, Chase?
No, it's also my, I want this to be a huge asset to Henderson. And there's a lot of places I could have invested my money, other communities, other states, but I chose to invest it here. And I wanted to make this corner, a show place for Henderson and bring it up to 21 standards. I've done a lot of things mechanically for COVID. We've redone most of the mechanical systems in the building. We've redone the entire outside. We've underground utilities, all new fiber optics. So I wanted to bring the structure up to 21st century standards. And I want this to be an asset to Henderson. And I can just say, going through this whole process, Henderson's been really business friendly to work with. And yes, we have requirements and zoning requirements, but everybody has been over backwards to help. And I just want to thank Henderson for being business friendly and for also wanting to improve the community and improve this area.
All right, thank you. Do any board members have questions for Mr. Fulcher or Mr. Hopgood?
I have a couple of questions. On the second floor residential, I'm sorry, this is Heather Knight. How many residents are we planning on having on the second floor?
The most would be one significantly large apartment upstairs. It would just be one apartment if that even happens. But I would say there could be one large apartment upstairs, and that would be the most. And they have ingress and egress back on the rear staircase and out the side too. So they have a 6-foot stairs, 2 exits or entrances. And so it wouldn't even affect the ground floor businesses or even the other upstairs businesses. So it would be one large apartment would be the most that would be usable.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to verify if there would be like 2 smaller or 1 large or that type of situation.
Just would be one large.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Fulcher.
Thank you.
Mac or Marcos? Anything to ask Chase or Chris?
No, I'm good as it is right now. I'm fine.
Okay. Is there anyone either at the city building or on the Zoom meeting that wants to speak in opposition to the appeal? Appeal number 3416. Is there anyone present who wants to speak in opposition to appeal number 3416? All right. Can we get a motion?
I got a motion. I move that we grant appeal 3416 for conditional use permit to allow multiple uses, businesses, but no more than 3 may be allowed in the same structure building for the property located at 1138 North Elm Street with the following conditions. Only 3 businesses in addition to the nonprofit office located on the first floor. Second floor may only be used for 1 residential space. The second part, I'm not real sure. Mr. Chappelle may have to help me here. I don't know if we want to do, I put conditional uses for the property. I don't know if anybody has any objections, but that's what I put it for. And that the evidence presented showed that the granting of this requested conditional use permit is justified because it is an essential use in that it will eliminate an empty building in Henderson. It will also provide a location for administrators to manage their businesses. And that the evidence presented showed that the granting of the conditional use would promote the public health, safety, and welfare by assisting and providing jobs and housing for the city of Henderson.
Second.
Right. There's been a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on the motion?
Whatever it's worth, I think it was fine how she had it worded. No issues there.
Would you
Okay,
say
thank
that?
you.
Is there any discussion on the motion? All right, Sarah, would you call the roll for the motion, for the vote on the motion, please?
Max,
Yes.
Heather,
Yes.
Marcus,
Yes.
Motion is passed and appeal number 3416 is granted. Chase and Chris, thank you for being with us tonight.
Thank you all for your time and all your efforts for our community on this project and all the.
All right, Mr. Nix, we have another appeal, 3417. Could you inform us of that appeal?
Yes, I'm going to break this up into 2 different ones because one's a conditional use, and we'll deal with that first, and then the variance that goes along with that. So we'll call this appeal 3417-1. Is submitted by New Jerusalem Baptist Church for the property located at 450 Bacon Street. The applicant is requesting a conditional use permit to install a cabinet monument type sign pursuant to Article 31, Section 31.07.5A, Appendix A, Zoning Code of Ordinances of the City of Henderson, Kentucky. The property is zoned Audubon Residential District. All adjoining property owners have been notified, and again, we have received no calls on this appeal. A conditional use permit is a requirement by our sign zoning ordinance for pole, pylon, and cabinet monument type signs that meet the following conditions. Number 1, that they are 50 square feet and less than or equal to 10 feet high. 2, if backlit, need documentation that shows that the light will not be intrusive. And in determining that, I would suggest that we use the similar brightness level requirements that we have elsewhere for lighted signs in our ordinance, such as they may not exceed a brightness level of 0.3 foot candles above ambient light as measured using a foot candle meter by a preset distance depending on the sign area as shown in Exhibit B of our sign ordinance. I think that will wrap its head around the brightness level and won't exceed that. The applicant, in filling out their conditional use permit worksheet, states that the requested conditional use is justified because it's an essential use in that the church needs the sign large enough for viewing, and this sign will replace a small, older sign at the same location. Conditions that would eliminate or minimize adverse effects of the proposed use in the zoning district are: the location is close to the structure or church, and the only item of the sign that is taller than 10 feet is the cross that's being placed on top of this sign. Because the height of the sign, including the cross portion, exceeds the 10 feet, the applicant will present an appeal for a variance to the height should this conditional use be approved, and it will be heard as a separate appeal, as I mentioned before. The staff has reviewed and recommend approval of the request for this conditional use. We forward the application appeal to the board for your consideration, action, and any additional conditions that you deem appropriate.
All right, thank you, Ray. Tim, you're here to speak for the appeal, is that correct? I'm sorry.
Tim and I both are.
Oh, okay. All right. Would both of you give your name and address?
My name is Kip
Tim
Husk.
Williams.
Sorry, go ahead, Tim.
Go ahead, Kip.
Kip Husk, 1115 Indy Court, Evansville, Indiana.
Tim Williams, 3646 Holloway Lane, Henderson, Kentucky.
And do both of you promise to tell the truth?
Yes, sir.
All right. Kim, you going to speak first, or Tim, whichever?
I'll let Kip go ahead.
Okay,
Okay.
Tim.
Yeah, the design element that raises above the 10 feet, we felt it was a nice design concept as it follows the spire that is built on the church. We wanted to duplicate that, and the church also felt that that was a good idea. I believe we meet most all of the rest of the criteria, except for that height limit, and the cross itself is what actually exceeds that 10 feet limit.
Tim?
Yeah, so, and the sign's been there since the church was built back in the 70s, and it's deteriorating. So, to get our message out and just to advertise a little bit, we just like the board to approve a new sign.
Thank you very much. Are there any board members who have questions for our presenters?
I have a question. I always have questions. The actual sign itself, is that part meet the requirements, and just the cross that exceeds them, or is the sign also just a little bit under or a little bit over the zoning requirements?
The sign meets the requirements of the zoning. It's just the spire at the top that
Okay.
makes it above that.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. And Mr. Husk, you're already aware of the dimming requirements for Henderson?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Anyone else? Thank you. Is there anyone present, either physically or virtually, who wishes to speak in opposition to appeal number 3417? Is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition to appeal number 3417? Is there a motion?
I have a motion.
Go right ahead.
I move that we grant appeal 3417 for conditional use permit to allow a cabinet monument sign in R8 ARD zone and a 2-foot height variance to install a monument sign with attached cross for the property located at 450 Fagan Street with following conditions. The sign lighting meet the zoning requirement in Henderson and that it be dimmed in order to not disturb surrounding neighbors. The sign should be dimmed no later than 10 p.m. nightly and can be brightened at 6 a.m. Hold on, I'm getting there. Conditional use is for the property, and that the evidence presented shows that the granting of the requested conditional use permit is justified because it is an essential use in that the sign will be able to provide information to the community that pertains to the church, and it will be able to provide other important community information. And that the evidence presented showed that the granting of the conditional use would promote the public health, safety, and welfare by being able to provide quick and emergency information to the public if needed. It will also increase awareness of the church resources in the community.
Second.
All right, there's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on the motion? Any discussion on the motion?
So the motion included the variance as well, is that correct? That's what I heard.
I thought it did, but I'll ask Heather that.
Yeah, I kind of did them both together.
That
I
okay,
can
Dawn?
do them.
Dawn, is that all right?
Yeah.
Okay,
That's fine.
that's acceptable. So any discussion on the motion? All right, Sarah, could you have a roll call on the vote?
This needs to be labeled.
Max,
Yes.
Heather,
Yes.
Marcus,
Yes.
All right, the motion is passed, and Appeal 3417, requesting a conditional use and a variance, is granted. So Tim and Mr. Huss, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Gold. Appreciate the board.
All right. Do we have any old business other than the minutes of the last meeting? Okay.
I make a motion to approve the minutes from December 9th meeting.
Second.
All right, motion and second to approve the minutes of December 9, 2020. Have a roll call on the motion.
Max,
Yes.
Heather,
Yes.
Landon,
Yes.
Marcus.
Yes.
Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to
So
adjourn.
moved.
I don't think we need a roll call. We're adjourned. Thank you very much, everybody.
Have a
Okay.
good night.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.